What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat. What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands is on me.
Hello, this is RJ City, and I am ethically opposed to any more wrestling podcasts. I don't know why you guys are talking about wrestling. It is a niche product. It is a very small industry. Yet, at this point, there's more wrestling podcasts than there are wrestlers. There is something wrong with society as a whole, but as you get smaller and smaller into wrestling, and then the wrestling podcast sphere, it gets even worse. And one such example, if I may turn on the microscope and look at the drudgery that happens to be True Heel Heat. SP3, Sid, this is your fault.
Hi, I'm the ballsy badass Shotzi Blackheart, and you're watching True Heel Heat.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for Rated Raw Review, episode 91, just me, Oos, reviewing last night's October 27, 2025 edition of Monday Night Raw, as only we can. And to do that, I am not joined by Top Guy JJ. I am not joined by Romeo. We got a special guest with us this week, joining us, a wrestling writer extraordinaire, podcast extraordinaire, and wrestling fan extraordinaire, the one and only Robert DeFelice. How you doing, Rob? Good to see you again.
I'm doing all right. Definitely a wrestling fan extraordinaire is the only accurate thing anyone could ever say about me in my life. So I thank you for that, and glad to be here.
Absolutely. Good to see you again. And it's good to talk about some wrestling with you again. And it's good to talk about it with all of you joining us. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping the thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the comment section below. You can also sound off in the live chat if you're with us live. You can interact with us and give us your thoughts on last night's Monday Night Raw. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to make sure your comment is highlighted on screen, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and it always goes a long way to help the channel grow and keep growing as we move forward, and we always appreciate the support. We got in the chat with us already. We got Alexa Bliss Gamer saying hello, everyone. Alexa Bliss is in the main event. You know Alexa Bliss Gamer is going to be in the chat. Good to see you. We also got in the chat with us our main man, Zach Minger, who lets us know that it's National Chocolate Day. Did you have any chocolate today, Rob?
I did actually. I had a Hershey bar.
Did you know it was
that.
National Chocolate?
Oh,
look at
bar,
that.
But I'm glad that it's National Chocolate Day.
It worked out. It worked out for you. A happy coincidence for you. So overall, what did you think about last night's show, Monday Night Raw, and overall thoughts on Monday Night Raw? Because we're still in kind of a rebuilding process with Monday Night Raw, coming off the heels of Seth Rollins' injury at Crown Jewel and his excommunication, as you can say, from the Vision. So where you at with Monday Night Raw and last night's show?
I think it was the definition of a stopgap. Clearly, we thought we were getting Punk and Rollins at Saturday Night's main event. And while you can argue the matches played out, it was an easy match to promote for a quick TV show. They had to pivot. I'm nervous that match on Saturday won't have an ending at all, let alone a good one. And other than that, I thought it was a solid show that built to Saturday show nicely, while also telling you, yeah, we're in that lull period where we're just trying to get to January and the Royal Rumble so we can get on the road to Vegas.
Yeah, it really feels like they're in that kind of, like you said, a lull, and kind of just like it's still rebuilding itself. I thought that last night was better than the week prior. I wasn't as upset as I was last week with how they booked Braun Breaker. I kind of got out all my aggression over multiple rants over their just inability to push anyone young, and the research that I had to do with all the numbers of Triple H world champions and stuff like that. That I was just like, I watched last night and I saw how they booked Braun Breaker. I was like, oh, that's good. Not good for LA Knight, but I guess it's better than last week for Braun Breaker.
I mean, I'm more than happy with a young talent being put over strong. I get that people like LA Knight and they think LA Knight is a fresh talent, but reality is LA Knight is a seasoned veteran, and Braun Breaker is a guy who isn't even 30 yet. And at this point, that's a toddler on this roster, and I think we need to appreciate that. I think he should be champion sooner than later. I don't think we're getting there, though.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like. And if it is, oh, we wanted to put the title on Punk, and then Breaker's going to win the title from Punk. What does that matter? What's the like? Oh, Saturday night's main event. It's not a big enough show. I've heard so many different excuses, and that's all it is. It's just excuses to not push anyone who's under the age of 30.
The reality is so strange because it's Triple H booking, and Triple H is a guy who was on TV every week as world champion. By 5 years into his WWE career, had at least a couple world title runs. It's so strange that they're just like, oh, it's okay, he's young, so he's got 10 years. We don't need to make him champion until he's 35. I don't get why they're insistent on not just going with the hot young guy. If you wanted to do Punk versus Uso because you have a plan, that's fine. If this thing ends where it's Breaker spears them both, there's no ending, and we're gonna drag this out till the Royal Rumble, like I don't want to see anything dragged out. At most, Raw in the Garden, and that's enough. Like, you can change the title on free TV as well. You don't need to wait for a major PLE. You can do it on free TV. They did it all the time, and that's what I'm really looking for here. I want some significant change at a rapid pace because I think that would revive the WWE product.
Yeah, it really would, because if you look at their main event scene, it's just so old. It's like late 30s or you're in your 40s. It's like everyone who has been world champion and kind of fits that criteria that you just need someone new. And we kind of asked the question on True Hill Heat on Sunday, like, is Bron Breakker ready? And I said it. I was like, it's not about what we think. They think he's ready, but they have a plan, a 5-year plan. Like, it's some business they're trying to go off the ground. Like, this ain't $1 billion company. Like, we haven't seen them push somebody. Brock Lesnar coming from NCAA and only wrestling in professional wrestling for a year. Kurt Angle wrestling for a year. And a lot of these guys won their first championships on Monday Night Raw. CM Punk, Mankind. Like, some of your biggest main event stars have done that. Like, they try to act and give all these excuses. And the ridiculous excuses we got this week of, we had to wait for a bigger show, but the same show that we're doing the John Cena retirement tour, the end of the retirement, his end of his career on, but that's not big enough for Bron Breakker to win on. And then the new one was, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed couldn't be in the Battle Royal last week because we were afraid they'd get cheered over our top baby faces.
Well, you still have that problem.
You were scared they would get cheered over Jey Uso and LA Knight? That means you're not booking very well. Like, you're either a coward or you're not booking very well, either because of the deficiency or because you're not that good.
As cool as it was to see Breakker align with Rollins and Heyman in April, night one, it was very clear they don't want to boo this man. They were just cheering the man 72 hours prior because he was doing Steiner math at a rally ahead of WrestleMania. They don't want to boo this guy. He's explosive. He's everything that the modern era is, because he's a throwback to, the rah-rah Goldberg type of overly masculine professional wrestler, but he's also just a lot of fun to watch, and he's explosive and people want to see it, and they're not going to boo him. He's going to get in the ring with Jey Uso and they're going to cheer him, unless, and this is just me throwing stuff against the wall, I kind of think Jey Uso's maybe being thrown around to fill in for the Rollins spot. Who else?
So you think, because I've been seeing a lot of people, and we're going to get into like the opening segment on this show, watching the opening segment, that were saying they think that it's a red herring, all the Jey Uso stuff they're doing, and it's actually going to be Punk that turns heel maybe as soon as this Saturday.
I think there's more fun in CM Punk as a heel, but I think if you have a story written where a Seth Rollins is leading the vision and he's Roman Jr., basically trying to do his own bloodline, who better to throw into the Roman Jr. slot than the guy who was groomed by Roman and Heyman for the spot? Heyman could get on the mic for 2 minutes and just talk about how the wise man always saw the vision, and the vision was main event Jey Uso, and you're off to the races. And if you're determined to just fill in a spot, I think Jey can slide in to the Rollins spot nicely.
I mean, that's an interesting way to go, and I'd be intrigued by it, because I think that the Jey Uso story is one of the better things on Monday Night Raw currently. But I don't know about this segment that we're about to talk about. But before we get into the opening segment, what did you think about the crowd last night on Monday Night Raw? It was from Anaheim, California.
It was a solid crowd. I think right now the benefit of a WWE show is going and participating in the live crowd. They really want live participation. They want the yeeting. They want the 4 letters, 1 word. That's the benefit of the show, because as a home viewer, it doesn't connect as strongly as it once did.
No, it just feels like we're wasting time. Or if you are just kind of numb to it, you're just looking at your phone for the Jey Uso entrance at this point, because it's not going to be anything different or new than what you usually see.
On the one hand, they got a lot of great crowd participation. They've got the kids get involved, and the kids are loving it.
Yeah, the baby last week was awesome.
Yeah, and they're excited to eat. The kid was eating last night. But if Jey Uso is really mad about being just an entrance, there's an easy way to pivot here, where it's Punk can't win the big one, probably because he doesn't want to, because he feels like his time has come and gone, and you go with Jey Uso. But that said, I'm not interested in a Jey Uso heel run. Like I'm just not. I'm
not interested in either one of these people holding the World Heavyweight Championship, if we're being honest.
I mean, gun to my head, I'd say, yeah, I'd like CM Punk to win his 4th World Championship since coming back in 2021, but actually have a run this time. That would be my preferred ending, But realistically, this is a placeholder, and they probably know where they want to go for Mania. I'm guessing whoever's holding this specific belt is facing Roman at Mania, so it might just be fill in the blank. But this particular match, it doesn't do much for me. That's not to say that I don't think both men tried to sell it hard.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page, because you said something that I was saying over the weekend on Trio Heat. I was like, it's more likely that whoever wins this matchup on Saturday is facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania than Braun Breaker.
Yeah, definitely. I think Braun Breaker might face Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker might face Seth Rollins if he's healthy. That's where I see Braun Breaker going.
Those both make much more sense than him being World Heavyweight Champion by WrestleMania that some of these WWE fans want you to believe. But let's talk about last night's Monday Night Raw. We get a recap of Jey Uso winning the Battle Royal in the main event from last week. And then we see Jey Uso make his entrance. The title, the World Heavyweight Championship, is in the ring. Jey gets to the ring, and he gets on the mic, and he talks about how there are 2 number 1 contenders. And now it's time to get the title back, because it's 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. And as he says yeet, the music of CM Punk hits. Punk comes out to a big ovation from the Anaheim, California crowd. He gets on the mic and he says 1 second, and he says run it back. He does the same run it back that Jey did during his entrance, or usually does during his entrance, and had Cult of Personality play one more time. Jey does not look like he liked that at all. Punk talks about how they're friends, but he says he's glad to see Uso is finally listening to himself for a change. He's not listening to Jimmy or Roman, but that makes it complicated for Punk. See, Punk tries to put himself in his opponent's shoes, but he's never been in Jey's place before. Last week, Jey won the Battle Royal. Punk knows he has what it takes. Look how far he was willing to go to get this title back. He said he eliminated his brother, and the fans start booing him for that, but Punk says don't boo him for that. He says Punk needs the title back as well as Jey, and he says on Saturday, Jey is going to be in a situation where yeeting isn't enough. So how far is he willing to go? Jey talks about how he's been in deep waters before, and he knows that Punk is going to be trying to make him out to be the bad guy. Well, screw Punk, and they'll see each other on Saturday. There was a little bit of a story there with Punk trying to dive into Jey's whole confliction of listening to Roman and Jimmy, but it just felt very empty. It just felt like, yeah, okay, but you're not the person I really want to see interact with this Jey Uso who's kind of has the devil and the angel on his shoulder. And first of all, Punk started this promo off badly to me, not with the running back. I thought that was cute and stuff. But he said that he's glad to see Jey is listening to himself and not listening to Roman and Jimmy. He is listening to Roman. Roman said, be selfish. Roman said, go after the world title. That it's your time. He's done all of that. He's still listening to Roman. Like, what are you talking about? Have you not been watching the product? He is definitely still listening to Roman. He could say all he wants that he's listening to himself now, but he's definitely still on the Roman path. And then I just thought, I just didn't find the interaction that intriguing to me. And it was kind of just here to kind of service the go home. And this is it kind of felt like WWE was like, okay, let's just get through this so we can get to Saturday.
See, but that feeds into my theory that, like, why point this out unless you're going to say, actually, he's been listening to Paul Heyman? Because the main character in WWE right now, and I'd say since about the ending of Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at last year's WrestleMania, has been Paul Heyman. 3 men earlier this year fought over the love and wisdom of Paul Heyman. There was no story. That match was over the love and affection of Paul Heyman.
It was.
He's the main character. He's in the WrestleMania 42 ad they just put out with Cody, Roman, Punk, and Brock. He's the straw that stirs the drink. And I think the easiest way to get here is just, Jey Uso turns heel. You can, save whatever bloodline reunion for next year because this is the story that will never die. And I think it's the easiest way to go. That said, again, I don't really want it. I have Jey Uso fatigue. I think wrestling fans at large have Jey Uso fatigue. They like the entrance, but then when the bell rings, they either want to scroll on their phone or go buy popcorn or do whatever they're doing because that's the fun. The fun is yeet, and once that's done, let's go do something else. Turn him heel.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you're not wrong. It isn't connecting. I feel like WWE fans like the yeet, they like the entrance. I even think they like Jey Uso. They don't like main event Jey Uso. It felt forced when they were saying it, and he wasn't a world heavyweight champion. But even since he's been world heavyweight champion, and because of what has resulted into a 50-day reign where he lost his first title defense, and then he only defended the title against Logan Paul before losing it back to the same guy that he beat at WrestleMania, it just really kind of amounted to nothing.
Yeah, and look, sometimes that's okay, but it seems like they're determined to do more with him. And if that's the case, the seeds are there for him to turn heel. You don't, tell your brother. Do you have siblings?
I have 2 sisters. Yeah.
Can you imagine telling one of your sisters, "Hey, I don't have real estate for you right now, so have fun with whatever it is you're struggling with." Like, the seeds are there for him to turn heel, because I know that's just not something you say to a sibling, let alone a twin. And he doesn't seem like he's a very good guy right now.
No, they're definitely not trying to picture him in that, and there's definitely, we got that across in the backstage segments that we would see throughout the night between those two. We might as well just get into that actually, because the first one would be Jimmy, who saw Jey backstage following the opening segment. He stops Jey and he basically just tears into him. He basically goes in about how Jey was selfish last week, and that it was supposed to come down to those two fighting together to determine who was the better man and who would go on to be the number 1 contender. But Jey was selfish, and he says that if it did come down to those two, and he actually believed in himself, maybe he wouldn't have just ducked out of this whole thing. So it basically, he says, when maybe he wouldn't have thrown him out as a result, and he just walks away from Jey. And then later in the show, we would see Jey come up to Jimmy, and basically He was Roman Reigns. He basically gaslit Jimmy to apologize to him. He runs into Jimmy and he seems like he's apologizing for throwing him out of the Battle Royal, but then he basically turns it back on him and he says, how dare you come to me before one of the biggest matches of my career and accuse me of snaking you, accusing me of not trusting me. He was like, man, you know what I'm about. You know I'm trying to get the World Heavyweight Championship. He was like, if it went the other way around, I'll be okay with you doing that. And Jimmy was like, you know what? You're right. And everything seems to be okay. They apologize to one another. They shake hands and walk away. But man, Jimmy was a heel here. Jay was a heel here. Jay was straight up gaslighting him in the second segment. I was like, this is straight up out of the Roman playbook of, yeah, I'll apologize, but you're going to be the one who feels sorry by the end of this.
Exactly. I completely agree. And that's why I think I'm going to go with Jay probably wins. I would prefer Jay winning over the idea that nobody wins and they keep the title vacant for a while. But I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the idea.
Why aren't you thrilled? It's something new. It's something different. You gotta realize people, we were asking for new stars and Triple H was like, I made a new star. Why won't y'all accept this? Why won't y'all accept the new star that I made is 40-year-old Jey Uso?
Well, no, my problem isn't that he created a new star. First of all, when Jey Uso debuted on the roster, I think Hunter might have still been a full-time guy.
He was a full-time guy in 2000.
He was. There's also the fact that right ahead of his biggest win at WrestleMania, he says, yeah, I think I'm going to be done in 3 to 5 years anyway. It's like, well, then what are we getting behind? What are we doing?
I'm just basing this off of what WWE has given us. They gave us the build-up to the biggest win of his career, where they told us he's not a good wrestler and he's buckling under the pressure.
Yep. He's not a good wrestler. That's the whole story. The story is Gunther can wrestle circles around him. And then he has a 3-month reign, and he didn't do much.
Not a 3-month reign, 50 days.
I mean, that's even worse though. Like he didn't even get the chance to do too much with the title, and I don't think there's any interest in seeing him really hold it. I think they're just lost because they made the bonehead decision of the night after WrestleMania saying Seth Rollins is the main event of WrestleMania 42, and hey, guess what? The posters just came out. The trailer just came out. You know who's not there because he's injured? Seth Rollins. That you don't put the cart before the horse because you're left doing these lame, I want to be phony cinema storylines where, like, what happens if a guy gets injured? Your entire house of cards just fell. Now what? And
I totally, you made the best point. I totally forgot the Heyman promo where he said Seth Rollins was headlining WrestleMania 42.
And now what do? Now you're in a position where you need someone else, and I think they're going to look at Jay as the best option for right now. Does that mean he goes to Mania? Listen, there's still Royal Rumble. There's still a lot of time. Yeah. But right now, it's the easiest way to say we're doing something new. Chaos creates opportunity. Look at what we've got, the next evolution of Jey Uso.
I'm just going to put my hand in my hand is, my palm is going to be in my hand if Jey Uso wins on Saturday. Because you're making more and more sense with everything you're saying.
I appreciate that.
We look at the Judgment Day losing the World Tag Team titles last week. And then we go backstage to the Judgment Day clubhouse. Dominic Mysterio comes in and he's worried about facing either Rusev or Penta for the Intercontinental Championship at Saturday night's main event. So Raquel Rodriguez says, well, you wouldn't have to worry about that if you weren't a serial cheater all the time. And Roxanne's jaw drops. She had the best reaction to all of this. Then he asks Finn and JD for help, but they're not listening. They're more worried about getting their tag team titles back. So Dom says, well, he's gonna have to get some help from outside the Judgment Day. So he makes a call on his phone and he says, yeah, I need help. And I think we all knew who he's probably calling. So we would get to that. What you want to say anything about this segment
real quick? Great fun here. I think given the cheating line and given Roxanne trying to go after Dom, I think they're putting the wheels in motion again for maybe there's something going on there between Roxanne and Dom, setting the stage for Liv Morgan to return. But
I think so. We mentioned that last week when they had the little backstage segment where they had the little interaction. It was like we kind of thought that was a sign that Liv is close to coming back.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, we're getting there. So that's good news. That's good news at least. But up next, let's set up, of course, the Intercontinental Championship #1 contenders matchup between Penta and Rusev. These two men, of course, have had their opportunities, but they get one last shot here by winning this matchup and moving on to face Dom at Saturday night's main event. Rusev jumps Penta early on, but he gets sent outside, so Penta hits a big flip dive to the floor. Then he looks like he's going for the Mexican Destroyer, but Rusev back to the floor again, where he knocks Penta over. He takes advantage of this and he gets back inside. He gets a running splash to Penta in the corner, only for Penta to come back with a backstabber. First few times outside weren't enough, so they go outside a third time in like the opening minutes of this matchup. This time with Penta going face first into the steps. This gives Rusev control for much of the matchup. Penta comes back. He hits a slingshot drop kick in the corner. Beautiful stuff. Then he comes back. He goes up top and he gets kicked out of midair with the Mashka kick. But Penta's able to kick out of that. Penta's able to respond and he reverses an accolade and he's able to hit the Penta driver for a very close near fall. We get both men getting up. We get a battle between the two, exchanging strikes until Los Americanos make their way out with El Grande Americano following behind to end this match in a double disqualification. They attack the two contenders for Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship. They take them out of the ring and they stand tall, but not for long. Rusev isn't happy. He clears out the Americano goons, but then he is helped out by Penta, who wants to deliver the Mexican Destroyer to El Grande, but Bravo and Rio are able to save the main El Grande Americano as they bail from the ring with Rusev and Penta standing tall. What did you think about Rusev and Penta here? I thought it was a pretty decent matchup before the interference from Los Americanos. A very predictable interference from Los Americanos, because I think even before we saw the backstage segment, we knew this match would probably not have a finish.
Yeah, I like the story. This has been one of my more favorite things to watch. I like when wrestlers are just excited about winning championships. But I'm beginning to get the vibe that maybe somebody is going to beat Dom without beating Dom on Saturday, because you have the option here, and Penta's still over huge. IC champion Penta for a little bit wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I still think they're going to do Dom and Cena at Survivor Series. So I think they're going to figure out a new way for Dom. I think the culmination of this is Dom trying to cheat against John Cena, trying to win his only Intercontinental Championship of his career and coming up short. Cena's able to get one more big win to close out his career at Survivor Series in San Diego in Dom's hotel.
Alternatively, John Cena can win his first AAA Mega Championship. You ever think about that? He's never won gold outside of WWE. There's options. We have options.
I just heard the news. John Cena is going to be Pablo Escobar in Narcos, the movie. So he's got to win the AAA Mega Campeon.
What about his long-lost cousin, Juan Cena?
Oh, that's true. Juan Cena can win it. Juan Cena can win it.
Juan
we haven't
Cena.
seen him. We haven't seen him in nearly 15 years.
It's been about 15 years for Juan Cena, but you know what? I think that there's something there for Juan.
See, we're coming up with creative right now. We're coming up with more creative than WWE has shown towards the John Cena retirement tour. So
I think it's really strange that they're just like, hey, he's got 4 dates left. We're not even going to try to build matches for him. We're just going to tell you he's fighting Dom, and then the last match of your quintessential, prototypical, pun not intended, WWE superstar is just a random, like, he's gonna show up, guy will be in ring, and he's gonna have the last match. No promo, no heartfelt, like, you get the last one, you get everything I've got, you get my heart and soul, because after this one I'm done. None of that. We're just doing, he gets one last Raw at the Garden, because he gets one last show at the Garden, and then we're going to Survivor Series, and then nothing until he competes in his final match. This is the strangest booking I have ever seen for a top legendary guy. They booked The Undertaker once a year and put more thought into that than they have this John Cena tour. And yes, I'm sure that Rock and Travis Scott screwed a lot of that up, but how many times are you going to blame that, man? Like, this is John Cena. Call an audible, show up on a Raw, and just cut a promo.
In comparison to what they could have done, this might be one of the more unceremonious retirement tours. It's not on the level of this one, but it might be closer to this one than it is like Ric Flair's retirement tour. It's John Cena's retirement tour is actually closer to Macho Man's retirement tour in WWE.
Yeah.
like how they've just put him on commentary, but at least they gave him one big angle before his contract expired. He did the whole angle. He had a WrestleMania match with Crush, and then his contract expired shortly thereafter. And at least they gave him that on the way out. Like, John Cena, for all the hype that went into this year and how this year was supposed to be like the biggest year ever, and it's all because it's John Cena's retirement tour year. Like, in comparison to Ric Flair, who had the whole storyline with Vince McMahon saying, if you lose another matchup, you have to retire. So we got a 4 to 5 month storyline heading into his retirement match at WrestleMania 24. Shawn Michaels cuts that first promo on Undertaker after they win the Slammies in December, and we had a 4-month run for his retirement tour. Even like you said, the Undertaker, he would come every so often and come around, and then finally the last ride was his last time. Like, all of these guys that are like the iconic names, Stone Cold Steve Austin got one more program with The Rock. The Rock, every time they think he's gonna retire, gets all the biggest program, gets the main event scene, gets WrestleMania matches. John Cena is retiring on a Peacock special in the middle of December, one of the deadest months.
He's not retiring in Boston.
Not retiring in Boston.
Because he's got to retire in DC. And I'll grant you, Cena was very patriotic throughout his career, but like, what do we do? This felt like a layup. And it seems like they intentionally messed with it in every way. And it's sad because I think a lot of people were looking forward to this run, and it's more just like, well, at least we have our memories, and those you can't take away from us, and that's that.
But you have to also look at it in like the context of the whole entire year. Like, how can Triple H, WWE, or WWE fan base say that 2025 is not a bad creative year for WWE? Because the retirement tour has to be considered a failure, at the very least, a disappointment. The Jey Uso was one of the bigger stories. Oh, we're going to strap the rocket to you. We saw the Unreal special and stuff. And what did that amount to? It amounted to a big surprise for the Royal Rumble win, then a lackluster build to WrestleMania, then a lackluster match at WrestleMania, and a lackluster, I'm sure all of us can say, we were disappointed at the visual, like as what people were envisioning how it would look with 60,000 people yeeting at WrestleMania. It was a lot better than what we actually got at WrestleMania, where it's very hard for 60,000 people to be in rhythm and to yeet at the same time. And it wasn't the visual that we all made it out to be. And then the run wasn't what we all made it out to be. It was 50 days. He lost his first title defense against Seth Rollins, had a mid-level matchup against Logan Paul on his Saturday night's main event, was a part of a big tag team main event at Money in the Bank that was more about R-Truth coming back because WWE got pressured into hiring someone back that they shouldn't have fired. And
All
then
part
he
of the plan.
lost the title.
All part of the
He
plan.
lost.
He
Lost the title 2
all
days
part of the
later.
plan, guy.
He lost the title 2 days later, and here we are at the end of the year where he is objectively one of the more popular stars in the company, but y'all have run out of everything creatively to do with him babyface. That yes, Robert's plan of turning him heel is actually the best option for Jey Uso at this point. So that's a failure. That's a failure as well. Seth Rollins in the Vision. That's the third biggest story. That's a failure as well. Oh my God.
And they're going to spin it all into a wonderful season of WWE Unreal on Netflix where they'll say, hey, sometimes things don't go as you plan. Life happens. I guarantee you, the main trailer image for this next season will be Triple H going, hey, shit happens. And it'll be like, you'll have the dramatic music in the background, and that will be the hook, is that, wow, sometimes you make plans and they don't go according to plan. Crazy. Meanwhile, we're watching, 10 hours a week of weekly WWE television, and it feels less connected than back when they only had Raw and maybe Sunday Night Heat. What are we doing?
Strange world, strange company that this is. We got to shout out I Make Beats in the chat. Thank you so much, I Make Beats. He's been a member for 14 months. Appreciate you, I Make Beats. One of the loyal people in the chat with us. Keep commenting in the chat as we talk more about this episode of Monday Night Raw. Next up, we would go backstage. We got LA Knight, who talks about how he came up short in the Battle Royal last week, and it's hard to keep the drive going. He doesn't have the title around his waist right now, but CM Punk and Jey Uso are on their way to Saturday night's main event. Sometimes he's used to doing the hard thing because he doesn't know how to quit. He's coming for whomever wins on Saturday, and he'll have the title around his waist when he's asked about it next time. And that led into our next segment as we go elsewhere backstage, and we got Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. They are with Paul Heyman. Bron Breakker thinks that he and Reed should have been in the Battle Royal last week and want an explanation from Paul Heyman. After thinking for a bit, Heyman says the two of them wrecking everyone in the Battle Royal would have left Adam Pearce hating them. Instead, they should take out the one other man who wants the world title unnamed, and after he's gone, the path to the title is clear. Breakker wants Heyman to get a match with that person, but Heyman has already done that. He says tonight it will be Bron Breakker versus LA Knight. Bron Breakker smiles, and Bronson Reed, when Paul Heyman leaves, says, yeah. This like when Bron Breakker turned on Seth Rollins, it was like, man, strap a rocket to him. He's ready to go. And instead of letting him go to space, WWE strapped a rocket to him and put him on a treadmill. Just run in place. Just run in place. Just stay in the same place you've been doing the same thing you've been doing, facing the same guy you've already beat. Just do that. It's kind of disappointing, but I guess it's better than last week where he said he had a lot to learn. What did you think?
Well, I think it's very clear to me that they just hey, I've got a plan. I will not deviate from this plan. Maybe it's Breaker actually fighting for the World Title Mania. Maybe it is Breaker Lesnar. Maybe it is uh, whatever it is, but they don't want to just go, here's the plan. Braun Breaker wrecks everything. He's going to be the world champion. We're going to have to strap the rocket to him because, hey, shit happens. Let's just go with the young guy. If it fails, we go, he wasn't ready. That's okay. We can always try again later. It's like they're afraid of that now. It's like they're afraid to just try it. Whatever happens, we can always pivot later.
I don't understand why that's a difficult thing for them to do, but it just seems like they're very, very much in their own way at this point. We did get a nice little video package looking back at 10 years of Asuka on the main roster. You see her in NXT and on the main roster with slow, quiet version of her theme music in the background, which makes it sound rather creepy, which I actually liked. But it goes through all of her accomplishments, NXT champion for over 500 days. They go through her run on the main roster and all the championship gold, how she is a 5-time women's champion, the 914-day undefeated streak, and then of course it ends with her latest highlights and her rivalry with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, saying that no one is ready for Asuka. I thought this was nice for Asuka to celebrate her 10-year anniversary. WWE doesn't always do this when it's someone kind of a major milestone anniversary. So this was a nice little note, and it kind of, with the creepy version of her music, kind of added to kind of give, I guess, newer viewers kind of a glimpse of the current rivalry that she's had with Io and Rhea with the Kabuki Warriors.
You know who didn't like this? Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg was crying like a baby, I'm sure.
He doesn't even know who this is. He's like, that's some girl.
Some girl. 10 years of some girl is what I think this video package should have been called. But this is really cool. Outside of the fact that it made me wonder where the hell the last 10 years have gone, like this was tremendous. I think Asuka's great. If I was really going to get funny, I'd say, given the fact that what they call her 5-time women's champion, I think Charlotte Flair can go ahead and rack those numbers up to 16 because we can count those NXT titles. But no, this is great. I love Asuka. I think she did as much for the women's evolution as the horsewomen. There was a time where it was like, hey, one of the horsewomen are down. You know who we plug in? Asuka. So she deserves this spotlight and everything she gets.
Absolutely agree with you. I say it was like AJ Lee and Paige like set the foundation. The horsewoman built the house. Asuka, she was part of the renovations crew. She went inside. She furnished the house. She was the one that kind of like caught the baton from the 4 horsewomen, especially in NXT. It started there and then it's only continued on the main roster. It was nice to see all of her accomplishments because for all that she's accomplished, it still feels like WWE could have done more with her.
Yeah, but you know what? I think she has a solid body of work, and I think she was really the proof of concept. She was the one who you go, hey, trust us. Women's wrestling is different now because we're going to take one of the top stars in Japan and make her a top star in the States. And I think they've always done really well by Asuka.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I did the list for top 10 best women's wrestlers in WWE history, and she was definitely in the top 10. Like her resume, all the great matches, all the great moments that she's offered, she has to be in that conversation. We go backstage again, and we got the Judgment Day who are in Raw General Manager Adam Pearce's office. They come up and they want their rematch for the World Tag Team titles. Balor is a bit calmer than McDonough, who demands it, but Pearce says that they're already busy tonight. One of them gets to fight Sheamus, as he's upset that they were eliminated and still eliminated him from the Battle Royal last week. Pearce says that they can pick, but McDonough steps up and says he'll do it. Balor looks surprised, and Balor says after that they can come after the tag team titles.
Yeah, this is fun. Balor being the voice of reason is strange. I'm looking forward to the eventual Balor Sheamus rivalry because that's a rare. We haven't seen a lot from them, and I'm all for it.
It's kind of crazy how many rivalries Sheamus hasn't had despite being here so long.
Yeah, he's been on the
There's a lot
roster
of
for almost 20 years.
yeah.
Like,
and it's because for like the last 10 years he's been in either the tag team division or the mid card. So
right.
there's like even like a lot of main eventers he hasn't worked with.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what Balor can do too, because I'm ready for them to heat him up. He is the forever he deserves more guy, but he kind of took over for Dolph in that role. But I think there's still time to give him what he deserves, and maybe even if it's a short one, I want to see Balor win a world title one day.
I feel you on that. Up next, we get the Judgment Day in action. We got Roxanne Perez going one-on-one with WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella. Raquel Rodriguez is in Roxanne's corner. Bella gets a quick sunset flip for a 2 count. She then slaps Perez right in the jaw. The referee has to call a pause and even puts up the X sign. I was like, did she legit just like slap the ever-living shit out of her? The very next move, she hits a drop kick to the same place on her face. This staggers Perez once again. I thought the match was going to get called off. This kind of made this match kind of little bit clunky at times, not flowing the best. I want to say this was a good matchup, but in the end, it was Raquel would offer a distraction. Perez gets caught on her feet, gets caught on the ropes before avoiding a charge in the corner. She would take advantage of the miscue by Nikki Bella and capitalize by hitting the pop rocks out of the corner for the 1-2-3. This one went just over 11 minutes. I thought it was a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, a little bit too long, but I guess a fair amount of time for a former Divas champion, a WWE Hall of Famer versus a young star. A big win for Roxanne Perez, arguably her biggest on the main roster with the resume that Nikki Bella has. Post-match, the Judgment Day looked like they were on the attack. They start kicking at Nikki Bella before the WWE Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vicaire comes out to make the stave. Stephanie goes face to face with Raquel. Nikki Bella steps in to have Vicaire's back before Raquel bails out of the ring with the baby faces taking charge in the ring. Like I said, I did not like the match too much. The post-match makes sense, and it sets up a tag team matchup for next week on Monday Night Raw, which we kind of assumed was going to happen after last week's show. But what did you think?
This is good. I think Nikki Bella's run hasn't been solid in the ring, but that's not what she's there for. Like, and if you thought it was going to be, you don't watch Nikki Bella matches. That's not me saying anything about Nikki Bella. It's real. Like they were never at a level like the women are now. I think she's doing great for the body work that she had. Because if you remember, there was a long stretch in their careers before the days of Total Divas where all the Bella twins did was accompany celebrity to ring. So they're great wrestlers for the background they had, I think. But I thought this was fine. We got a weird like 3-way shot of Stephanie, Nikki, and Raquel, which made me wonder if we're getting some kind of triple threat for the women's world title. I don't think kayfabe wise that Nikki deserves a shot given that she lost to Becky and lost here to Roxy, but yeah. I'd be okay with it. And I know that that's what the Bella Army would want. And listen, that is a powerful fan base and they will go to your shows. So maybe you should cater to them.
I think they're more positioning, despite this win for Roxanne, I think they're more positioning Raquel as the person who's going to challenge Stephanie next for the Women's World Championship. I think Raquel's improved a lot, but it's also the booking has improved for her where they've protected her. I don't remember the last time she took I think the last time she took a singles loss was Night of Champions against Rhea Ripley, and she's been on a little bit of a winning streak since then, and I don't remember the last time she took a loss in a tag team match.
You know, I think it's because she hasn't been placed into a lot of top singles rivalries, but it would be nice to see her get a run maybe not a run with the title, but she deserves a shot against the champ, I would say.
Yeah, I think they've built her up enough, and the Judgment Day has enough equity on the show that she can position herself to be like a PLE. It doesn't have to be a biggest PLE. It could be a Saturday night's main event. She gets a shot at Valkyria, or a big time Raw main event. I think that's enough for her. Backstage, we see the Kabuki Warriors. They basically approach Lyra Valkyria after they show a video of how Bayley challenged for the women's tag team titles. Kabuki Warriors are not happy with Lyra and Bayley basically skipping the line. Asuka starts yelling and shouting at Valkyria about what Bayley did. Valkyria is like, it's not me. It wasn't me. She got you a title shot. Why are you acting like you're upset about this? The Kabuki Warriors walk away, and Bayley pops up. She has a matching jacket for Lyra, and she talks about how Bayley got her into this mess. You're getting a title opportunity. What are you talking about? Bayley asks, what if they lose? But Lyra turns herself around, I guess, and asks, what if they win? She smiles, and they actually have a handshake as well. A lot of progress in this friendship over the last couple of weeks, but Lyra was just confusing me with what she was saying. I was like, why are you upset about getting a title shot?
I think Lyra's actions since SummerSlam have really been inconsistent. And obviously, like, that's not whoever's the top writer of this story needs to get the beats together, because this started with, hey, we're feuding respectfully over a shot for Becky Lynch. Bayley got involved at SummerSlam. Lyra said, I want out of the Bayley vortex. And then immediately regretted being mean and was like, but Adam Pearce, have you heard from Bayley? Because I can't reach out to Bayley myself. But have you heard from her? And the weird vignettes started playing. Bayley's doing the split personality gimmick. And if nothing else, at least we got a banger match out of it. The story might be missing some plot holes, but we got a banger match out of it at the end of this show.
I can't complain about what we got on this show. All I can complain about is just this backstage segment. But I do agree with you. You're probably on the money there. It feels like she's getting a different writer every week. It doesn't even feel like there's a lead writer on this. It feels like different writers are writing this story every week, because I've said this before on this show. Like, I feel like every week I feel differently about this story.
Right. And that seems bizarre to me. You know what I mean? Like, we should be beyond some of this.
Yeah.
Like, I think Lyra should have picked a side and just stuck with it. The weird inconsistencies over her feelings kind of make it hard to feel anything for her, you know?
Agreed. Up next, we get that LA Knight versus Braun Breaker matchup. Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed are in Breaker's corner. Knight gets driven into the corner early on to start, but he fights his way out. He sets up with some right hands in the corner, and then Breaker runs him over with a clothesline. But Knight is back up with a high cross body. He gets a 2 count off a sunset flip and then starts stomping down on Breaker in the corner before hitting a running knee. We get Breaker, who comes back after the commercial break, and he hits a big running knee before suplexing Knight over the top rope for a big crash. A big running shoulder drops Knight to the floor, and he gets a chin lock back in the ring. Knight fights his way out of it and slugs out. He hits a big jumping neck breaker and then puts Breaker down. He gets a power slam, then the jumping elbow on Breaker before he goes up top. Breaker cuts him off. He tries for the super Breakensteiner, but instead Knight basically moves out the way and then trips up Breaker, and he lands right on the back of his head. That was a scary looking drop. I was like, I cringed for a moment there. With Breaker seemingly okay, he goes back up top where Knight hits a mega superplex. Reed offers a distraction, but Knight is able to take care of him on the floor. We get Knight, who puts down Breaker. He's about to hit him with the jump up elbow drop, but Breaker's able to kip up But Knight is prepared. He jumps over Breaker. He rolls through, but then he runs right into Breaker, hitting the spear for the 1-2-3. Braun Breaker gets the victory here. This matchup got a bunch of time. It got 13 and a half minutes. It was a competitive matchup here. I thought both guys did well. Good match. What did you think?
Boy, I'd like to go back to what you said earlier on this podcast about was that about them not being in the Battle Royal because they don't want them to cheer them over LA Knight? Because I certainly heard a crowd explode when LA Knight got hit with that spear. They weren't worried about saying, yeah, they were barking with the dogs. So, maybe we just had to wait a week. But I like it. I think Braun Breaker is tremendous. I think this is a solid TV match. I think this is where LA Knight shines. He's a solid TV wrestler. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy the promos. I'm just not down with the legions of people who seem to think that he's this hot young star and the guy that WWE needs to strap the rocket to, because I was a fan of Eli Drake like 12 years ago, and we seem to be far away from that. I want people to understand reality. You know what I mean? And I
think that WWE could have and can do more with LA Knight. But I said it to Jimmy McGraw when we talked a little bit about WWE on AE Ramble, and I'll say it to you, very much is Razor Ramon coded booking by WWE when it comes to LA Knight. They see him as one of their most popular and prominent stars for sure, but he's here. While the Romans, the Punks, even Jay, Seth, Cody, Drew McIntyre can get here. He can't get here, but he can get here. Just above where LA Knight is. LA Knight, his peak, his ceiling is the Intercontinental and US title. I don't think he's ever winning the world title at this point.
And you know what? I think here's the main core ingredient. WWE needs to put in the work to make fans realize that is not a bad thing. Razor Ramon, synonymous with the Intercontinental Championship. And yeah, we can all talk about the fact that had booking been different, had it been more similar to today's booking, Razor Ramon would have been world champion on some brand somewhere. But it's a solid role. No one was like, damn, that Mr. Perfect only was Intercontinental Champion. He sucked. That it's a great spot and it shouldn't be looked down upon.
I agree. I think that there are all-time greats that just were Intercontinental Champion. We're just at the mid-card level. And I think at LA Knight's age, I think he kind of realized that. I think that the aspirations that he talks about on the mic is him as a character. I don't necessarily think that he needs that for himself in his career, but I think that he has been popular enough where WWE should have just gave him a shot, gave him an opportunity, see what he can do with it. But I think that they've already missed the boat on that.
Yeah, I do think he'll get it one day, but I don't think it'll be long.
And I just need to say, I'll say it like I said last week, he was the only other option outside of Braun Breaker to win that Battle Royal. Jey Uso should have not been the next option. The next option should have been LA Knight, because you've been building LA Knight versus CM Punk for like 3 months. And I'll tell you, the opening segment, there were times where the crowd was just very noticeably quiet. Not because they were trying to listen to the dialogue of this rivalry or the promo exchange. It's because they are two guys that they both love and they adore, but they don't want to see them fight each other. They do want to see Punk and Knight fight each other. It's been proven time and time again. More people were more into Punk and Knight than they were into that 4-way at Clash in Paris. They should have done that matchup on Saturday.
I agree. I think that you could have done that. You could have CM Punk and LA Knight. They can cut a promo that can make a 7-day build feel like it's worth it. But I just think that they don't see Knight in that spot. Knight is the guy who, like he said, he's Razor Ramon, he's Owen Hart. You'll be in a featured spot on the card. You might even be in a title match, but you're never going to be in the title match.
Yeah. And even the main event of a Saturday night's main event, that's the title match. So They said, no, we're going to go with Jey. Sucks. We go backstage, and Adam Pearce is looking for Dominic Mysterio. He is hanging out with the Americanos. He gives them this weird, like, no-touch Orange Cassidy handshake. But then Adam Pearce tells him that he knows that he was behind the Americanos getting involved, even though Dom says that they got involved under their own volition, and now Penta and Rusev are going after them. But Pearce says that Penta and Rusev are going after him, actually, and they'll be facing him. And guess what? Oh my God, the biggest shocker yet, a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship at Saturday night's main event. Dom tries to feign ignorance and he says, no habla inglés, but it is official. Dominic Mysterio will defend the Intercontinental Championship this Saturday, Salt Lake City, Utah, against Penta and Rusev in a triple threat match for the IC title.
There's a lot. There's a lot here because after watching the Americanos interrupt the match earlier, my brain went to, wouldn't it be fun if we got like Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles, or Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, the Lucha Brothers against like Dom and the Americanos in a traditional Survivor Series elimination? They don't do those, so we probably won't, but that would be so much fun. And then the second thought being,
bring that back. I'm kind of done with War Games. Give like War Games a 1-year break.
I would love to see it, and I would love to see just the utilization of the traditional team matches because they can be effective when you want to just get a bunch of fun guys in the ring and have a new style of match. That being said, my other thought was, can you imagine if you just take the stupid masks off and you let Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Ludwig Kaiser with their very well-dressed men, they all look good together. They can all beat the crap out of people. Can you imagine them being like Gunther's Horsemen? Can you
that would be perfect.
Can you imagine that? I don't know why we're doing this. Granted, it is fun, and at least Kaiser is super over in Mexico, so he fell backwards into a great thing. But this should be fun. Dom's great. I love Penta. Rusev's doing some good work. This will probably be my most favorite match on Saturday.
Oh, it might turn out very well. I will say Dominic Mysterio has been one of the highlights of Monday Night Raw with the Lychee Steel gimmick. I just feel like the Americanos, though, they're kind of like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. It should be so much more. And them being the Los Americanos, this is them taking the joke too far. I think the joke.
What are they going to do when
Gable shark.
What are they doing when Gable comes back? Like.
And they're not even acting. They're not even doing the most minute thing of pretending that the other two Americanos are also El Grande Americano. That was the whole joke and the whole point. Now they made them two different. They're part of a family. They're Bravo and Rio. That's corny.
Or are they just
the joke?
Are they just setting up? Hey, when Gable's healthy, you're just gonna fight American Made. And it's just going to be like, you're going to have good matches and no one's going to think about it. Because that could be it too. And I'd be all right with that.
I guess so. We get up next, the Judgment Day in action again. JD McDonough going one-on-one with Sheamus, a battle of Ireland. Finn Balor is, of course, in JD's corner. Sheamus takes JD to the corner and pounds away at him with the forearms to the back. He gets a big backdrop and takes JD down, and then we see a Dublin smile. McDonough gets in a shot of his own and then walks over Sheamus's back, earning himself a clothesline to the floor from the Celtic Warrior. Balor breaks up the 10 beats of the Bowery, so Sheamus clotheslines both men off the apron. We take a break and we come back to Sheamus fighting out of a chin lock before McDonough sends him back down and outside the ring. He hits him with a beautiful looking acai moonsault, and then back inside, McDonough takes advantage. He hits another beautiful move, a 450 splash, but he's only able to get a 2 count. Irish curse backbreaker plants McDonough, and then he finally is able to connect with the 10 beats of the Bowery, with Balor having to watch on. We get a bro kick attempt, but that's cut off as McDonough is able to hit a Psycho knee. but then Sheamus is right back with the high cross. Balor puts McDonough's foot on the rope, so he's able to avoid the loss there, but Sheamus knows that it was Balor and tries to go after him. McDonough's save attempt is sent crashing into the barricade as Sheamus puts him back into the ring and heads up to the top rope. McDonough pulls the referee, so Balor pulls the shillelagh and uses it against Sheamus. He cracks it over his back. McDonough then meets Sheamus on the top rope and hits him with a Spanish fly for the 1-2-3. Big upset victory here as JD McDonough beats a former world champion. This match got plenty of time, nearly 14 minutes, and I thought they went out there and had a hard-hitting physical affair. This is what Sheamus would call a banger, if you will, but I thought it was a very, very good matchup. I thought this was McDonough really showing that last week I thought he was the MVP of that tag team title matchup, and then this was him showing I could do it in tag team, I can do it in singles, put me in a trios match. He can do it all. JD McDonough's been really stepping up the last 2 weeks. What did you think?
Yeah, I love it. And I love that JD won, he doesn't win a lot. He's very much the fall guy of Judgment Day, and he's been that way throughout all the iterations, and it was cool to see him win something. Like I said earlier, I'm very excited for a small Balor Sheamus rivalry, maybe one that ends in a Donnybrook, maybe one that sees the Demon come back, maybe Sheamus gets on some war paint. I think we could have a lot of fun here. I think these are two great veterans who aren't doing anything on the show, and while you're waiting for the inevitable Balor finally leaves Judgment Day and beats the crap out of Dom, I think this is a great stopgap for him.
Honestly, my opinion on it changes every week, but I honestly feel like Dom is the one who's turning babyface from the Judgment Day.
If the crowd has their way, yes.
Yeah. The crowd is dictating it. Like everybody thought, it was just a one night thing. It was WrestleMania and stuff when it first happened, but it's been consistent, especially the last couple of months. It's been an uproar. Like the backstage segments he had on this show. You're Dirty Dom, Dirty Dom, Dirty Dom. Like they're treating him like he's Urkel showing up on the set of Family Matters for backstage segments.
And he deserves it. He has put in the work, and he is so improved. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah, he's been one of the MVPs of 2025 for WWE. We looked at Becky Lynch losing the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship matchup via disqualification against Maxine Dupree last week. And then we see Dupree is backstage with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. Dupree is ready to get the title shot, but first she wants to talk to a friend and make sure she's in the right place. Adam Pearce says that it's official, but eventually. Who do you think is the friend? I think the friend is a red herring because a lot of people would just assume, it's someone from Alpha Academy or Natalya. I think it's AJ Lee.
It feels like Natty would be the friend given their history and the fact that Natty has a book to promote. And there's plenty of reasons for it to be Natty, but I also think that Natty on TV, you just say Natty. So I think it's AJ Lee.
That is a better point than what I made. Yes, if it is Natty, you say I need to talk to Natty.
Hey, Natty's here. And I think it'll be AJ Lee because everybody seems to think she disappeared. It was a one-off to offset AEW. It's like all your favorite stars go away after one match. She's gonna be back, and I'm guessing she's the opponent for Becky in San Diego.
I mean, the rumor is that they're going to be involved in War Games in some kind. I can see them doing that. I don't think they're doing that title match until the new year.
It would be great to see AJ Lee in War Games. I also would rather the safer route of AJ and Becky have a singles match. That gets another women's match on the card. That gets two new women in War Games. I think
they're going to have two women's matches
there
on the card, but it's going to be the WWE Women's Championship match.
Well, yeah, but I think you can get a third match. I think there's more room to play with.
Stephanie
more...
McCarron and Nikki Bella.
Oh God. Eventually,
you can get 3 matches. You don't have to do. I really feel this is what WWE's doing. Like, this is why they took her off TV following WrestlePalooza. Survivor Series does not need AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch, so they're not going to do AJ Lee and Becky Lynch at that show. They're going to wait till the new year, and they're going to do a match where they can both get involved, and that's War Games.
I think my fear there is, can AJ Lee do work? You know what I mean? Like that era again.
Grab
like
some weapons and hit some people.
Again, like people keep forgetting that era was not used to rapid kendo stick shots, and they have not built the callus on the body for that stuff. I'm sure it'll be fun. I mean, we've seen Trish Stratus come back and do a lot of cage matches and stuff. I think this is in that vein, but I think the safer route is the singles match. But in this case, I'm going to say you're right because you just ran through my logic, and I think there's a lot there to do the women's War Games. But I will say, if they're going to do women's War Games with those two, they should probably be the captains.
I wouldn't mind that. That would make a lot of sense because right now the direction, because let's talk about the next segment because it sets up the main event. But we go backstage and we got Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. They're talking about the main event matchup for the women's tag team titles. The Kabuki Warriors interrupt and they accuse Charlotte of being evil. Charlotte says that she has changed a lot over the years and a lot's changed with Asuka as well, it seems. But, nothing will change in regards to she always beats Asuka. They would love to give the Kabuki Warriors a title shot, though. Kairi Sane whips out a threatening umbrella while Asuka just screams in Japanese and walks away before saying, Kairi! As she calls off. The Kairi bit is hilarious. In the first segment with Lyra, she calls her and she does. It was hilarious. Her reaction to it is great. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up, what we were talking about, right now it feels like the Kabuki Warriors or Asuka would be the captain for a heel War Games team because the Kabuki Warriors are the point of contention for now 6 baby faces on Raw and SmackDown with the Charlotte, Bliss, Bayley, Lyra, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley.
Now you say that though. Well, where does that leave the room for AJ?
Well, Rhea's injured. Or she might be
terrible.
out. I mean, if she's not injured, she's in War Games. Io Sky's in War Games because they need to do their moonsault spot. Then you do one or the other. You do Bayley or Lyra, and knowing WWE, they'll do Lyra over Bayley, and they'll leave Bayley off another major card. And then you do what's the last team? Oh, Charlotte and Bliss. Yeah, you can just do one of them. You can do Charlotte. Don't need to do War Games. Do Bliss. Do Bliss instead of Charlotte, and then you do AJ Lee.
Yeah, see, that's where the logic falls apart because I think you can't not do Charlotte Flair.
So that's why I said Rhea's probably not going to be in. I don't know
if Rhea's hurt, which I didn't know Rhea was hurt. If Rhea's hurt, that might be the open door. See, I was looking at it as if you had the ability to have AJ and Becky as the anchors and the captains, they could be. You can get Roxanne in there. That gets Raquel in there. And then maybe Kabuki Warriors. And I think AJ, what do you got? You got tag champs. Actually, you got the tag champs. You got Bayley and Lyra. Or maybe Liv Morgan if she's good to go. But I think that's being pushed off till next year. But I think if you've got no Rhea Ripley, I think AJ Lee is a good fit for that spot. And that about sorts your War Games.
Yeah. It does.
She's friends with Bayley. Bayley makes the call. You get AJ Roxanne interaction.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's good.
Good. I think that could be the way to go.
we'll see how it transpires over the next couple of weeks here. We get the Saturday night's main event rundown. Then we go backstage to see the new World Tag Team Champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, AJ Lee, or Phenomenal Dragons, or Phenomenal Styles. I don't know. Well, you got them with
It's
Adam Pearce as
AJE. That's all this is.
no. We got Adam Pearce talking to them when the Judgment Day interrupt. They want their rematch for the World Tag Team titles. The champions agree, despite AJ saying that they're not the most deserving and everything they've done, but they agree to have the match next week, and that is made official for Monday Night Raw. Any thoughts?
Yeah. Awesome. Banger. This is the kind of cool stuff I'm talking about. I like Dragon Lee and AJ Styles randomly being paired together, randomly winning tag titles. That makes me go, oh man, I should tune into the show more because you never know. More of that would get more eyes on the product, I think.
Yeah. Try new stuff that you don't think fans are expecting. Annika says, how long does it take for a nose to heal? Well, we had Gunther, who had nose surgery, and he's been out since the beginning of August. And this is going on 3 months now. And if Rhea busted her nose, last week? If she has to get surgery on it, or if she's just waiting for it to recover, it could take up to a month to recover, and that would put her at Survivor Series. So...
Or you keep her out and you have her be the first woman announced for the Rumble.
Yeah.
And you get the excitement going there.
Yeah, you have her come back at the end of the year or the first Raw of January and say she announces for the Royal Rumble. And then she's immediately interrupted by Liv Morgan making a return, saying she's in the Rumble as well. And then you have a story with those two career-long rivals going into the Rumble, both of them want to win. So there you go. Booked it for you.
Again, we're doing so much of their work for them.
We're just helping. We got some more WrestleMania 42 teasers on the show. During one of the ad breaks, we see this hand and we hear some shuffling in the background. The hand is obviously with the Hall of Fame ring, which would be of Paul Heyman. And then later in the show, we would see a poker chip dropping on the table, and it says 2026. I guess this is gonna be a video package or a teaser.
Yeah, they released it
to announce.
They released it while we were live, so it's just Roman, Punk, Cody, and Lesnar sitting at a table. Somebody deals cards. They all go all in while Triple H and Paul Heyman are just watching. So cool visual, but it's not anything like groundbreaking for me. You know what I mean?
So they got all these fans excited for nothing.
I don't usually do this, but in this one, I'm going to say there was enough people with enough time who told you this ain't anything special. Don't get your hopes up. Stop it here. It's not Jericho. It ain't even Santos Escobar. Stop thinking things that will not happen.
That would have at least been worthwhile. We already know it's in Vegas. It's basically just a video package to announce that the tickets are going on sale, right?
Yeah, I guess it's tickets going on sale because we knew it was in Vegas. That's not a surprise.
Yeah, that's not what they're announcing. When I found out that it was a WrestleMania commercial yesterday, I was like, okay, this is probably the commercial to announce the on sale date.
Right, because that usually happens in October, November.
Yeah. Oh man, this company. All right, finally we had the main event for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defend the gold against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Bliss grabs a early headlock on Bayley. They rekindle their rivalry here. Valkyria gets tagged in. She trades a couple of wrist locks with Charlotte for a bit. Bayley distracts, but that doesn't work. Charlotte gets a kick right to the face of Lyra, and as the Fireflies are out, Valkyria kicks Charlotte outside, though, and a drop kick through the ropes puts the Queen down as the challengers take advantage before we go to our first commercial break. They start hitting some double teams. We come back with Valkyria grabbing a rocking horse submission on Bliss before handing it off to Bayley. A G9 gets the 2 count, but Bliss is back with a double DDT on the challengers. That's enough for her to make the hot tag to Charlotte, who comes in with a beautiful looking crossbody off the top. Then a clothesline and a fallaway slam. Good comeback by Charlotte here. She hits a beautiful moonsault onto both Lyra and Bayley. Gets a 2 count on Lyra. Bayley is back up, and she hits the Bayley to belly on Charlotte for a near fall. Bliss comes in and off a blind tag gets a 2 count off the sister Abigail. I was really convinced that was the finish right here. I really felt this was the key to like the match turning around and really getting good. This near fall here as Bayley comes in and makes the save. Lyra then pulls Bliss out of the air for a Nightwing. She hits it perfectly, but she gets her hair caught onto Alexa Bliss's basically top. So we basically have to have the referee, like you see Lyra panicking, trying to get her hair free from Alexa's top. But it's very strategic, and I realized what was going on immediately. Production puts the camera onto Charlotte and Bayley as they're doing something, because Alexa, as they're pulling the camera away, you could see Alexa what she's doing. She's taking off her top, because apparently she has more than one top on for, I guess, wardrobe malfunctions like this. She takes the top off. Then all of a sudden you see Lyra rolling out of the ring, and she has the top still attached to her hair. This shit had me dying. I rewind this like 3 or 4 times. It was great.
I love the good person that Alexa Bliss is. Just immediately like, I will just take off my top so that your hair is not like practical solutions for practical problems.
Absolutely. But from there, it even went up a higher level. I thought the last final 5 minutes of this was absolutely superb. You get Charlotte comes in, she kicks Bayley in the head, then grabs on the figure 8 without the leg going over for Bayley's horizontal leg. But oh well, she still got it on. Bayley looks like she's on the verge of tapping out, like she has done time and time again to Charlotte in this move. But Lyra's able to make the save and stop her from tapping out. This is great sequence where she's stopping her, and then all of a sudden Alexa Bliss just comes out of the camera's view and hits this twisted Bliss right on Lyra's back to break it up, and breaks up everything. Even Charlotte breaks the figure 8. They get the challengers to their knees, and just beautiful sequencing on the double natural selection, and it basically put the whole story of the matchup together, where this wasn't about like who were the better wrestlers in the ring. It was about who were the better team. You saw the early double teams with Bayley and Lyra and how they've come together over the last couple of weeks. But Charlotte and Alexa, in the end, proved themselves to be the better team because their sequencing, their chemistry is off the charts. How beautiful they hit that stereo natural selection was just great finish to this matchup. It ended at its peak. This went just over 13 minutes. An excellent matchup. One of the better main events of Monday Night Raw this year. Hell of a way to close out the show. Post-match, though, we get a couple of replays breaking everything down as Charlotte and Alexa celebrate. But then the Kabuki Warriors run in. They jump Charlotte and Alexa. They lay out the champions. They then beat down Lyra Valkyria for a bit until Bayley comes in to protect Lyra. And the Kabuki Warriors just decide to walk away. They attacked everybody but Bayley. And that reminded me of their whole relationship from their time in Damage Control. So my question to you, what did you think about the main event? What did you think about the post-match with the Kabuki Warriors attacking everyone but Bayley? Is this maybe a tease that they're going to try to get Bayley to their side in a similar fashion that they did to Io, now that Io is their enemy?
Lots of validating stuff here for me. Let's start with the fact that the women's tag team titles should have a spotlight on them. Yeah. These performers are tremendous, and these titles deserve more love on weekly TV. Second of all, it's brilliant to have them on Bliss and Flair. They are 2 bona fide stars. They can go on every show. It's awesome. Then, I think there's people who think Charlotte's washed. I think there's people who think Bayley's washed. I think there's people who think Bliss is washed. And this is the proof that they're not, and they're just as good as ever. And just because they're not being crammed down your throat doesn't mean that they're not still as good as ever. I loved this match. I want more stuff like this. I want more women's tag teams on TV. That's across the board in wrestling. I think this was brilliant. And then it was awesome seeing the Kabuki Warriors close out the show and setting the stage for, hey, everybody on this roster matters as long as you make them matter.
Yeah.
And I thought this was brilliant. This almost made up for what was a kind of meh show. You know what I mean? Like this.
It did.
This is the segment you're gonna talk about the morning after.
It really was. It really was like the big takeaway from this show was, wow, that main event was way better than it had any right to be, and it was way better than the show overall to me as well. We got Annika who says it was like Bayley and Charlotte was like, chick, we haven't wrestled in a minute. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, most notably, they were noticed. This was the best that Charlotte Flair has looked. I know before people were saying like Evolution was like the turning point for her, but she hasn't had a lot of great performances since her and Bliss won the tag team titles at SummerSlam. This was by far the best performance that she had all year. I thought that she was on the money. That little, even the cartwheel, the flip clothesline that she does, it looks horrible all the time. In this matchup, it actually looked the best that it's looked, where the person didn't have to stop and wait for her to complete the flip. She did it naturally, where Bayley turned around right into the clothesline. It was perfect. Like, this was the best Charlotte has looked, and Bayley looked quite motivated because she was near her hometown.
Completely agree. And yeah, I think this should be the motivation to do more with these women. I think Charlotte is the best women's wrestler in the world when she wants to be. And the reality is, for like the last several years, she hasn't needed to be. And I think she's somebody who thrives on motivation. Bliss has been knocking it out of the park since coming back to WWE. Bayley is, I think what Nikki Bella called her, the heart of women's wrestling or something. Like, yeah, Bayley rules. And Lyra is maybe the most pleasant surprise of an NXT call-up from this most recent group. Like, she's so fun and she's caught on with the audience. And I loved it. I loved it. This was thumbs up for me. Asuka and Kairi, two of the best women's wrestlers of the last decade. Everybody got to shine here. This was a fun segment. Put more spotlight on women's wrestling, not just because, but because they deliver.
Asuka and Kairi next champions?
I don't think so. I think it'd be stupid to pull it off of Bliss and Flair when you've got this fun dynamic where they can go on every show.
I think Kabuki Warriors are the next champions. I don't think it's happening like immediately, but I think when they do get their opportunity, which I can see on the road to Survivor Series or not, maybe, because I think that they're not going to have this Bliss and Flair team go into the new year. They're going to separate them ahead of Royal Rumble.
I could see that, but I do think, because I don't think Charlotte's touching singles gold anytime soon unless Bianca Belair is healthy first. If Bianca's healthy, then yeah, I think Charlotte Bianca WrestleMania.
I think that would have been the plan, but I think now they're going with Bianca and Jade. I think they are holding Bianca off for her to come back. She'll probably be a candidate to win the Raw Rumble because I think Jade's winning the WWE Women's title on Saturday.
That is a good chance.
Yeah, Lyra's been incredible in the ring. She's been
Tremendous.
one of the best women's wrestlers anywhere on planet Earth, and I watched pretty much all these places. But let's talk about last night's Monday Night Raw in the live chat. Let us know, what was your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP, your moment of the night. Out of 10, what did you give this show? Give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. And final call for super chat donations. Always appreciate the support, y'all. But for me and Robert, for the October 27, 2025 edition of Monday Night Raw in 3, 2, 1. It's going to get a slight, like the Orange Cassidy thumbs up for me.
It's about here. It's like 75% up, mostly because of that main event.
The main event and Sheamus and JD, like that last two matches elevated.
And then the match quality takes it to right about here.
Yeah, pretty much. So out of 10, what are you going to give the show, Robert?
It's about a 6.5. A lot of that being carried by the women and by Sheamus and JD McDonough.
I was dead set on 6.5, but that main event impressed me so much. I will give it a 7 out of 10. I will give it. It is better than the last couple of shows. Well, the one in Perth was really good, but outside of that, in totality, the last couple of months haven't been the greatest for Monday Night Raw. But that was one of the better matches that we've seen on Raw this year. And of course, that's match of the night: Charlotte and Alexa versus Bayley and Lyra.
Oh yeah,
Robert.
And I would say they're the MVPs. I'd actually probably say all 4 women in the match were the MVPs. As far as the LVP, I think from an in-character standpoint, I'm going to say Jey Uso. Your twin brother just told you he has no real estate for you, fam. I know that Jimmy had to call up Rikishi and say, Yeet Man was being mean to me. He said he's got no real estate for me. I got to go with poor Jimmy on that one.
Poor Jimmy. Can't even get any real estate with his own brother. Is there anybody else on this show that deserves LVP more than him? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to help him out. I'm trying to be like, no, can't do it. Can't even give it to Nikki Bella. No, it's got to be Jey Uso. Jey Uso, your LVP, MVP for the show. I will give it to the 4 ladies in the main event for sure. And I will also give some love to JD McDonough. I'll give it to JD as well. JD was great on the show, and he picked up a big victory on the show as well. And moment of the night, I will give it to the finish of the main event.
I would agree. I'd say moment of the night. Outside of that, I really enjoyed Dominic Mysterio claiming he doesn't speak English, because I think Dom is tremendous and he's knocking it out of the park.
There you go. But we've made it to the end of another episode of Monday Night Raw. We got to thank Robert for joining us this week. Thank you so much. Always enjoy when you're able to join us here on the channel. So I want to give you the floor. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they might see you again.
Listen, you can follow me everywhere. It's right there on your screen at Dude Felice. If you like what I have to say, you can always hit me up there. Right now, where are you going to see me again? Truth is, I don't know. But big shout out to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful for a wonderful several years. But for now, I'm just doing me, Oos. And I don't know when I'm going to pop up again.
It's just me, Oos. Day 1-ish. It's just Rob, Oos.
It is just me, Oos. I don't eat, but hey, it is just me for the time being.
Thank you so much, Rob, for joining us today. And thank you, all of you, for joining us. If you're joining us live, if you're watching us on demand, either way, drop the thumbs up on the video. It helps us out so much. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. And if you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best place to support us when we are not live here. Go and check out our latest GOAT match series where we watch Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from Wrestle War 1989, the third and final matchup between them for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's up right now. I will be back with you tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with our WWE Saturday Night's main event preview with Maggie of Fightful Overbook. So join us for that. For Rob, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been Rated Raw Review number 91. Just me, Oos. We are signing off until next time.